So the first thing that you need to do when going from formulas to names is to sort out the type of compound that you're dealing with, because each type of compound has different rules, okay? So we know that the first thing we need to do is count the number of capital letters. Then we need to determine if they are metal or non-metal. And the easy ones are the H because they are acids. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out my acids. Starts with an H, acid. Starts with an H, acid. Looking if there's any more. No more acids. So now we're going to go and sort covalent versus ionic. Okay? NO. 2 capital letters. Nitrogen is a nonmetal because it's to the right of the staircase. Oxygen's a nonmetal to the right of the staircase. That makes it covalent. RBI, 2 capital letters. RB is a metal, left of the staircase. I is a nonmetal, to the right of the staircase. Ionic. NH4Br, this should be a lowercase r, I'm sorry. So that is 3 or more capital letters. The first thing you need to do is find the polyatomic ion. Using your polyatomic ion chart, you'll see NH4 is the polyatomic ion. It's automatically ionic. KC2H3O2. Way more than 3 capital letters. Find the polyatomic ion. More than 3 capital letters is automatically ionic. Find the polyatomic ion. C2H3O2 is your polyatomic ion. Okay?
Yep.
N4O3. N is to the right of the staircase, non-metal. O to the right of the staircase, non-metal. Non-metal, non-metal, covalent. We already sorted out the acids. FePO4, 3 capital letters. 3 or more capital letters, automatically ionic. Find the polyatomic ion, PO4. CuO, 2 capital letters, copper, to the left of the staircase, metal. Oxygen to the right of the staircase, non-metal, ionic. PCl6. P, right of the staircase, non-metal. Cl, right of the staircase, non-metal, covalent.
What about
MgO, magnesium.
Oh, I'm sorry, MgO. MgO, magnesium to the right of the staircase, oxygen to the left of the staircase, ionic.
Wait, you said that backwards.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Magnesium, metal, left of the staircase. Oxygen, non-metal, right of the staircase, ionic.
Good.
Now we're headed in the right direction. Okay, so NO2. It is covalent. With covalent, we use the prefixes. There is 1, an understood 1 on the nitrogen, 2 on the oxygen. So we know that we write the names nitrogen and oxide because we changed the ending to I. The prefix for nitrogen should be mono, but do we ever put mono on the first element?
No.
No. The prefix for oxygen is di because there's 2. Nitrogen dioxide. RBI, ionic. Ionic is the easiest. You name the cation, you name the anion, you change the ending, okay? RB is rubidium. Is rubidium a multivalent metal? No. How do you know if it's a multivalent metal? It's in the list on the back. Okay? So rubidium is not on the list on the back of your periodic table, so it's not a multivalent.
Right.
So I don't need Roman numerals, so I'm done. NH4Br. Ammonium is your polyatomic. Bromine is your anion. Do I change the ending on the bromine?
Yes.
I do. It's not a polyatomic ion, so I have to change it. So that becomes ammonium bromide. Ammonium is not a multivalent metal because it's a polyatomic ion. I don't need Roman numerals. I'm done. K is potassium. C2H3O2 is on your polyatomic ion sheet. It's acetate. If the polyatomic ion is the ion, anion, you do not change the last name. So it's potassium acetate. Is potassium on your list of multivalent metals?
No.
No, so I do not need Roman numerals.
Do you only need Roman numerals for the ones that
There's a list on the back of your periodic table that lists the multivalent.
I am so
N4O3. We know that the root of this name is nitrogen oxide. But because it's covalent, we have to put in prefixes. What is the prefix for 4?
Tetra.
Tetra.
It's like Tetris.
What is the prefix for 3? Tri. So tetranitrogen trioxide. Okay? Acids. We remember now that this is one of those that we didn't cover, but there's only going to be 2 naming of acids and 2 formula writing of acids on each side. So there's 10 naming and 10 formula writing. 2 of the 10 on each side are going to be acids. You need to remember the H does not matter in the name. It simply serves to tell us that we are using acid rules. If the H is attached to one element, like HCl, then it becomes hydro. Remember, you only use hydro if it's one element. Then you put the root of the element, so that is chlorine, so I'm going to put chlor, and it ends in ic, acid. So for any acid that has just one element attached to it, it's hydro, name the element, ic, acid. Okay? The next one, ClO2. That is a polyatomic ion. Which polyatomic ion is it?
Chlorite.
Chlorite. If it ends in ite, it goes to us. So it is chlorus acid. You do not put hydro on it because it's a polyatomic ion, not an element. Just chlorous acid. Okay? MgO. Magnesium oxide. And this is the easy one, right? Is magnesium a multivalent metal?
No.
No. So it's just magnesium oxide and life goes on. Fe is iron. PO4, what is PO4? Phosphate.
No.
Do I change the ending of the phosphate?
No.
No. When a polyatomic ion is the anion, you don't change the ending. Okay? Iron. Is iron a multivalent
No, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay, so here's the thing. I have one iron atom.
Oh.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I have one phosphate unit. No. PO4, the 4 oxygen are part of the phosphate unit. So phosphate is a whole thing. So here's a phosphate. And the phosphate carries a 3 negative charge. Okay? Because the polyatomic ion chart. You know the charge based on the polyatomic ion chart. Phosphate is a whole unit. The 4 on the oxygen does not have to do with the charge. Okay, so this is, remember how we talked about the marriage and if you're getting remarried with children? So just pretend that the phosphorus has 4 oxygens, and that's a unit, and their charge as a family unit is a 3 minus. So that means that the iron, if it's a 1-to-1 ratio, that means that if phosphate has a 3 minus,
3+.
the iron has to have a 3 plus because they have to cancel.
So it's 3.
So it's iron 3 phosphate.
It's tough.
It's okay. Copper oxide. Is copper a multivalent metal?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Hey, you're right.
Don't guess if it's a multivalent metal if I give you a list. Like I gave you a list. Look at the list. Worst case scenario, it's not on the list. Okay?
Copper 1.
So, copper. How many copper atoms do I have?
1.
How many oxygen atoms do I have?
1.
1. Okay, so I have a 1 and a 1. What is the charge on the oxygen?
Negative
2. If the charges have to be equal and opposite, what is the charge on the copper?
2.
Positive 2. So that is copper 2 oxide.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
You know it's -2 because like the staircase.
Yes. Okay. PCl6.
Phosphorus hexachloride.
Phosphorus chloride is the root of the name. Because it's covalent, I need prefixes. I only have 1 phosphorus, but do I ever put mono on the front?
No.
No. What is the prefix for 6? Hexa. So phosphorus hexachloride.